drill instructors slash drill sergeants of Reddit, what's the funniest thing you've seen a recruit do that you couldn't laugh at? If you enjoy this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing. Had one recruit paying attention to a bunch of geese rather than us. Made him get up and chase them all away. As they flew in the air, we made him follow them for several hundred feet to make sure they wouldn't come back. I was dying of laughter on the inside. So when you start basic, your body doesn't know how to handle no sugar, caffeine, rigorous exercise, and sleeping schedules, so it's in shock. With this shock, shitting becomes a problem for a few. Well, every DI after the first week is required to ask around if everyone has taken a shit, and from there he assigns one recruit to track who has shit and who has not. I shit you not, pun intended. We had one guy who would stand in the barracks at the end of the night rolling off names of people who hadn't shit yet. Finally, we have one guy who is still on there after 2 weeks and the DI tells him to go to the doctor. The doctor gives him an get out of jail free card, essentially saying that at any point, he says the magical words "I gotta shit" and he can escape any situation. Well, recruit can't shit, we'll call him, gets the smart idea that he's going to play his new trump card as long as possible. Every time that we are getting grilled, "I gotta take a shit" comes ringing in from the back of the formation. This probably happened 6 times until our DI caught on. Finally our DI devises a plan that when recruit can't shit goes into the bathroom, he's going to have a couple of us hold onto his legs and slide him into the stall, or exorcist style. The time comes, and recruit can't shit excuses himself. We all follow our DI into the bathroom and slide him under there, like he's the spawn of Satan. This catches recruit can't shit by surprise. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on as the DI is utterly berating him about lying and using this as an excuse to sit on the toilet. Then we hear a very audible "oh shit" from the stall. The DI scared the recruit so much he actually took a shit right then and there. The DI made every recruit look at it, and we played taps for it as we flushed it down the toilet. An RDC in another division asked a guy if he shaved that morning and the guy claimed he had. The RDC said, "Recruit, you are either a werewolf or you are lying. So which is it?" The guy responded, "I must be a werewolf, petty officer." We weren't allowed to talk during chow at the galley. You had to point at what you wanted another recruit to pass, and they had to silently pass it. One recruit wanted a napkin and pointed. The other recruit asked, "This?" The CC's, Coast Guard DS, immediately came over, circling him like sharks, screaming at him. They made him put like 10 saltines in his mouth and chew until his mouth was full, then ask the first recruit if he wanted a napkin again. He barely could get it out, spitting pieces of cracker everywhere. Then they screamed at the first recruit to answer him, but we were all silently cracking up. Sounded like this: "Phew, went a napkin, pieces of saltines flying out. Answer him." Cracking up, almost crying, "No, thank you." It was the best. We had 2 5 feet 1 inch stocky blonde guys named Johnson in our company. One cycled different platoons. No relation at all, but they looked really similar. One day during grass week, a couple J-hats made them face each other and go back and forth screaming, "You're not Johnson, I'm Johnson." "No. Fuck you. You're not Johnson, I'm Johnson." You have absolutely no clue how hard it was to not break into a million pieces after about 5 minutes of that. Oh shit, it's probably too late for this, but I just thought of one. I was a super light sleeper during basic training. One night I woke up for no reason. The sleeping bay was dark except for the light by the desk where the 2 soldiers on fire guard were supposed to be awake and alert. Both of them were leaning back in their chairs dead asleep. I started to throw my covers off to go wake them up. If a drill sergeant came through and caught the fire guard sleeping, we'd all pay. But then I heard a slow scraping sound to my right, off in the darkness. I froze and heard it again, closer. A few heartbeats later I almost screamed out loud as I saw the sharp and tense face of our Samoan drill sergeant in the darkness. His face was covered in full camo. He was low crawling underneath the line of bunk beds towards the fire guard. He had a bayonet in between his teeth. We locked eyes, and he silently raised one finger to his mouth, signaling for silence. I nodded and sat back to watch the show as the drill sergeant resumed his low crawl under and past my bunk in the direction of the sleeping guards. I have a bunch of stories of funny shit I did to correct soldiers when I later became an NCO, but that image, like something straight out of an 80s war movie, will always stick with me. I work at basic training ranges, and we had a drill sergeant yell at his soldier while they were getting ready to go down a buddy live fire exercise. The soldier froze and started crying. This 18-year-old kid was just in tears for getting yelled at. The DS yelled at him some more, and he finally gave up cause this kid wouldn't stop crying. So he made him scoop tears off his face and put them in his pockets till he filled his pockets up with tears. He did this for like an hour. It was hilarious. Not a DI, but I enjoyed watching this happen. On hikes, my DIs loved having conversations using the recruits as messengers. The DI at the end of the formation would send a recruit to the front to give the DI up there a message, and back they would either have stupid conversations or talk trash using the recruit. I'll never forget this one. Whenever a recruit would bust ass, we would make them turn on the vacuum cleaner, which meant we would yell, "Who the fuck just shit themselves? This recruit is attempting to attack our olfactory sense. Platoon, turn on the vacuum," which would be followed by, "Turn on the vacuum, aye sir," and then all the recruits would suck in through their mouth as hard as they could. However, one time, we had a recruit who immediately answered when we asked who shit themselves that this recruit shit himself, sir. Turns out Recruit Jones shit himself during a late night drill session in 3rd phase. By then recruits are disciplined and almost always put the mission first, even if that mission is just executing left face march, without asking to go to the head. Poor kid sat in his own shit for almost 2 hours. There was a dumbass in my basic that, after firing, he had his rifle up on his shoulder pointing the wrong way, towards the DS, clearing it, with the mag still in. The DS, 6'8" bodybuilder, slammed the fucker into the sandbag screaming at him, and then the recruit had to lay prone in the dirt with holding a stick for a rifle, periodically saying bang for the next 3 or 4 hours. Somehow he still graduated with us. I was going through Air Force basic training, and when on guard duty, if an unauthorized person wanted to be let into the bunks, you had to report it to your drill sergeant. Our sister flight's drill sergeant came up while I was on guard and requested entry, so I reported to my sergeant, and he had me ask the other a series of questions. This particular sergeant had a bushy mustache, so one question I had to ask was, in what year was Magnum P.I. cancelled? He dropped out of view from the window laughing, came back up, and yelled it was never cancelled because I'm still here. It took everything I had not to crack up. Story from my wife while she was in BCT. They are eating chow one day early on, maybe first or second day out of reception, and they hear a drill instructor yelling, "Why the fuck are you eating salad with a spoon?" Apparently, in reception they had been told not to bother with forks since they had 5 minutes to eat their meals. Dude wanted a salad. He decided, fuck it, I'm eating salad with a spoon. Hilarity ensued. Drill instructors let everyone know that not using forks is a dumb fucking rule, and whoever told them that is fucking stupid. It's an unwritten rule that early on you're supposed to stick to the normal foods and not venture off from the basics. We had one guy on the first week grab a cheesecake for lunch. Next thing I know, all 4 DIs have their own cheesecake and sit down next to him. They're all asking him how his day is going, if he's having fun, any girls in his life, etc. A totally normal exchange, which caught us all off guard. Finally they all finish, and as our DI is getting up he says, "Recruit, that won't be the last time I see that cheesecake." It wasn't the last time. The recruit threw it up later after the DI made him run 3 times more than us. We had an old Korean dude in our platoon in BCT. Dude had been part of the Korean Marines and Air Force and just joined for green card. Anyways, it's like week 2, and in chow the only thing you can drink is juice or water. This guy goes and sets his tray down, walks back to the drink line in front of the DS table, pours a cup of coffee and walks back to his seat. DS couldn't say anything for a bit because they were all just stunned. Finally one yells, "Private, what the fuck are you doing?" Dude doesn't stand up or anything, and in his broken English, with a dismissive click of his teeth and wave of his hand, just goes, "I'm tired. I need coffee," and just ignored the further yells while he got a couple of gulps down. Dude got smoked for a while on that, but nothing they did bothered him. Whenever he got back to barracks I asked how bad it was, and he said nothing could ever be worse than the Korean Marines. Edit. Few people asking for some more stories about this guy, and really only have one more. Dude kept to himself. The only other story I have about him was, we were always expected to be showered and be in bed by a certain time. This guy did not like getting in the shower with anyone. He refused. Usually it would be first fire guard shift's job to clean the bathrooms after everyone was done and in bed, but for whatever reason a couple of dipshits decided they wanted to start cleaning just before it was time to go to sleep. Anyway, after everyone is getting dressed / climbing in to bed, you could hear the slap of Rock Soldier's shower shoes as he went to go take a shower, but the other guys were already cleaning. They started to yell at him. He started to yell at them, and we all watched to see what was gonna happen. This was like halfway into basic, and it's the first time I really heard this guy raise his voice. After they argued for a good few minutes, he just walked away grumbling to himself. So about 10 minutes passed by without issue, and by this time, everyone is mostly in beds. I walk into the bathroom and this guy had just filled a sink with water and was washing himself off there. I walk by to the stall behind him to take my shit. When I'm done, I walk out of the stall and this guy has one leg up on the counter and is fanning himself dry with his towel. I got an awfully tainted view. I kind of half shouted, "What the fuck, dude?" because I was surprised. Then he started going off about the dudes not letting him shower. Fire guard guys come over to see, and then they start bitching about the mess he just made again. Wouldn't have been so bad had they just let the man shower. And then the DS walks in to see two guys in full uniform arguing with a small naked Korean man who was yelling back in Korean, and me just standing there trying to understand what the fuck is going on. DS woke everyone up to tell them that only he is able to take away shower privileges, and we all had a quick smoke session before he left. That is an image that doesn't go away. You just reminded me of a breakfast one morning. Navy boot camp. I made myself a deviled egg using a hard-boiled, a packet of mayo, and one of mustard. Petty officer walked by, saw it on my tray, and froze. Recruit. What the hell is that? It's a deviled egg. Petty officer. Where the hell did you get a deviled egg? I made it. Petty officer. God damn it, recruit. That's the best fucking idea I've ever seen. Carry on. Yes, petty officer. I had been so terrified I was about to get in trouble for it for some reason. While in basic we had a female that loved to smile. She was just a happy person in general. Well, my TI, training instructor, came in and she caught the female trainee smiling. TI didn't like smiling. She walked up to the female trainee and yelled, "Wipe that smile off your face." Female trainee stopped smiling. The TI continued to yell, "No, literally wipe the smile off your face with your hand." Trainee does so. "Now throw it on the ground." Trainee follows orders. "Now stomp on it and scream, 'Die, smile, die,' as loud as you can." The female trainee stood there for a second before following through. Her tiny little voice cracks as she yelled, "Die, smile, die." And I will say it took everything I had not to bust out laughing. I think I'm done with this thread for a while. There's literally 100 more really funny posts, but I feel like posting a story tomorrow instead of another AskReddit thread. It really helps me out if you like, comment and subscribe if you haven't. See you tomorrow, or maybe later today depending on if I feel like vacuuming.